Hey, this is World Series champion Johnny Damon.
This is World Series champion.
Hey, this is World Series champion Johnny Damon.
This is World Series champion Cliff Floyd.
This is Kevin Newman of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
This is a World Series champion Ozzie Guillen.
This is Carlos Pena, 14-year MLB veteran.
This is two-time NL MVP Dale Murphy of the Atlanta Braves.
This is John Clowney, pitcher with the Arizona Diamondbacks.
This is World Series champion Joe Musgrove.
This is Jordan Luplow of the Cleveland Indians.
This is Lance Coach Jim of the Houston Astros.
What's up, it's A. Jones of the Buffalo Bills.
It's Tyler Lockett of the Seattle Seahawks.
It's Hunter Henry of the LA Chargers.
This is Jose Canseco.
And when I'm not on the field catching bombs from Russell Wilson.
When I'm not on the field catching bombs.
When I'm not on the field catching bombs.
When I'm not on the field hitting bombs.
I'm watching my guys over at FIlthbomb.
FIlthbomb. FIlthbomb.
FIlthbomb.
FIlthbomb.
FIlthbomb.
FIlthbomb.
FIlthbomb breaks
off those nasty
FIlthbomb. I know a thing or two about hitting some bombs, fellas.
But there's nothing quite like hitting a FIlthbomb
with my guys over at FIlthbomb Breaks.
FIlthbomb! FIlthbomb! Mike Trout 101 auto!
MVP breakers, MVP prices.
Keep those FIlthbombs coming, I'll keep those World Series coming.
Thanks for making baseball cards fun again.
Thanks for making baseball cards fun again, guys. Go Bucks.
Thanks for making collecting cards fun again for the kids and for all of us old-timers as well.
A way to make baseball cards fun again, guys. Keep pulling those nasty filth bombs.
And pull me a Jose Canseco Superfractor.
And hit me a West Coast Superfractor. Go Astros.
Please pull me a DuPont Superfractor.
How about you go pull me a Jordan Luplow Superfractor?
But they could buy that stuff now. We got 4 watchers up in line.
And now, introducing from New York, opening packs at the speed of sound, pulling filth out of cases nightly, the undefeated, undisputed champion of the sports card breaking industry, FIlthbomb Breaks. It's time for FIlthbomb.
What's going on, everyone? Stephen Michael here with FIlthbomb Breaks. This is a Nosebleed podcast. It is January 13, 2020. The time is 7:02 p.m. Eastern, and it is myself and Mr. Derek Morgan. What's up, Derek?
What's going on, guys?
So we are starting off the show with the breaking news of the Houston Astros. Wah, wah. So the question is, and you guys can feel free to chime in, was the penalty handed out harsh enough for the Houston Astros? Derek, what are your thoughts?
I think it was harsh, but it could have been harsher, I think. To get rid of those guys for a year, charge them. The $5 million penalty definitely, that hurts for sure.
Well, for those that don't know, this is the penalty that happened. All right, so they lost their draft picks, 2020 and 2021. They lost their first and second round picks. Hinch and the GM had 1 year suspension, but then they were released anyway from the team, and They were charged with a $5 million penalty. The Astros were. All right, so that's what happened. Derek, what do you think?
Like I was going to say, so they got released and then, or they got suspended. Now they're released. That's got to hurt, man, for sure. I mean, I couldn't even imagine losing. I don't know their coaches. I'm not a fan of the Astros. I'm a Yankees fan, obviously, clearly. But if that happened to, let's say, Aaron Boone is still new, but if Joe Girardi got fired all of a sudden, I think New York would be devastated. So Houston Astros probably going through it right now. The fans are going through it. Plus, they've built up chemistry with the team. They know the team now. They're going to have to pull in some other guys. So I definitely think it's going to mess a lot of things up. I'm sure players are going to want to leave the team now. I just don't know. It's going to be messy for the next few years for them.
Louis Zolo
definitely hurt, but
Louis Zolo says it wasn't harsh enough. I agree with Louis. I was so I'm one of the guys that drank the Kool-Aid throughout the whole past 2 years. I was like, wow, they are just nasty, the Astros. These guys rake. They rake at home. They're clutch. They are a dynasty in the making. They have one of the best hitting teams on paper since the early 1900 Yankees.
Stacked.
And now I'm sitting here looking dumb because they got people banging on banging on trash cans.
Yeah,
and
oh my God, that whole thing too was just.
And they still couldn't win, though. They couldn't even win me a World Series. Oh, so not only do I lose a futures bet, I look dumb, and on top of that, they don't win a World Series. Oh, gross. Anyways, I think, personally, they should be stripped of their 17 World Series championship. That is the only way you will ever prevent something from like this happening again. This is no different than the Black Sox or the Chicago White Sox throwing the World Series. It's just to a different extent where they were actually trying to win, but they took different measures.
It's just the opposite, right? So,
I mean, the only way you're going to stop this from happening, what is the penalty? $5 million, that's trash bags. I mean, I know people that might be able to come up with $5 million.
So much money, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, $5 million is nothing. That's trash bags. Then you got a loss of 2000 and 2001 first and second round picks. How many of those guys actually end up being anything in baseball? It's not basketball. It's not football. You don't know. I mean, you're drafting kids in high school in the first round.
The other thing that I had a problem with that too is like their team is already so young. They have Jordan, Kyle Tucker, Bregman. They already have all the young guys. Like those guys, they're not going to pick up. I mean, they could potentially have picked up somebody, but to pick up someone as serious as like a game changer, like Jordan, I think is going to be a game changer. They already got him. Kyle Tucker, we'll see how he is going into next year, but they already have their squad. I mean, they're already tough enough.
The penalty's not. It doesn't even come close to being tough enough. Something like that.
The players should be fined, I think, too.
Like right now, but it's basically like the home run record, right? And Hank Aaron, Barry Bonds, he was on juice. There's an asterisk next to it, but he technically is a home run leader, right? When people think about it, they look at the stats. So how do you really get rid of this World Series title? I mean, even the White Sox still technically have that title, but unless they do wipe it clean, they wipe the slate clean, they say that didn't happen, just like in the strike-shortened season for the MLB, you need to just say that season didn't exist as far as having a championship because there's nothing to prevent another team from doing the same exact thing. And that's also why, just touching on the sports cards a little bit, I will not have stock in any Astros batter moving forward because you just don't know how this is going to affect the player. So how were their stats being affected? Was Altuve really an MVP?
Oh, that's the other thing too. Now is his MVP year 2017. I mean, that you could just throw that in the trash. I would think, right? Because he's stealing signs and stuff, and he's batting over 300.
I mean, honestly, I would bat over 100. If I knew what was coming, I'd bat over 100 in the bigs.
Yeah.
So imagine somebody that's good.
And he's one of the best. So dude, that hurts, man. Like Altuve's such a down to earth guy. Like you could tell every interview that he's on. I don't know what's going through those guys' heads right now. You know.
Well, all right. So Hinch, he got the boot. He's probably never going to find himself another job coaching because you can't be touching somebody like that. The GM.
No.
There was proof, and he was helping with the investigation. He actually did not know what was going on. So,
oh, really?
The GM did not know what was going on. So, will he be able to land on his feet and get another job, an executive job in the majors? Who knows? But Hinch is donezo. Hinch, and the worst thing about Hinch, right? So, before I knew any of this, I'm watching Yankees Astros playoffs this past year with my dad, and I'm rooting for the Astros because I have that futures bet in. Mm-hmm. And I'm saying, look how calm Hinch is. Look at how Boone is right now. He's just nervous. I was like, Boone is just nervous. I would not want that guy managing. Look at Hinch. He's just calm as if he expects to win. But now I'm thinking, I'm like, wow, my man did expect to win. He knew his players knew what was coming.
Dude, that whole Altuve bomb off of Aroldis Chapman, man.
Oh my, that
I don't know.
All right, I'm gonna just say one thing. Two things. One, Chapman looked unhittable in that series.
Yeah, no one was touching him.
2, before I knew about this whole cheating thing, I was telling all my boys in a group text, my man Aledmys Diaz looked locked in on Chapman. I said no one else did. Diaz, although this was before the winning game, I was like, Diaz looked locked in. Now we come back to find out there was whistling going on during his at-bat that he looked locked in on. So that's why he looked locked in. They finally caught on to Chapman's signs, and they were able to you had Aledmys Diaz looking nasty at the plate against unhittable Chapman.
That's so trash.
But yeah, now 2, my man Altuve swung at that pitch as if he had 150% confidence that pitch was being thrown. It doesn't matter if it's low, doesn't matter if it's high. If you're expecting that pitch and you're expecting the velocity in which it's thrown, you're going to take a cut like Altuve took, and that's usually going to be the result. What kind of comments are coming on your end? I'm seeing Richard Fisher says, wonder if it was going on in the World Series. Yes, it definitely was going on in the World Series. Brian Boyer says, I bet Top's kicking themselves waiting to put Jordan rookies in 2020. I don't want them now.
Yeah, I know.
The only thing is, though, the only thing I will say about Jordan is he raked at every level he played at. 2, it doesn't even look like it helped him that much because he stunk in the postseason. So
yeah.
I feel like Jordan did not know what was going on because he was swinging and missing and looking foolish. So
yeah, he wasn't 100%. There was one series that he did good, and then
well, he did good in the World Series. They might have cut him in on that. Like, all right, here's the deal.
Yeah,
we're gonna start banging. We're gonna start. He was probably sitting in the dugout like, why are these guys banging on garbage cans?
He's like, teach me these whistles.
I know. Oh, thank you, Jason. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, so I wouldn't be scared about Jordan just because his body of work leading up to this was not based on the 2017 World Series. He doesn't have an MVP under his belt. Like Bregman had an amazing year this past year. Why, though? Why? Were half of his games at home when he knew it was coming?
No, I know. And everybody was rooting for him to get MVP. Imagine now how mad everybody would be.
Well, I think if Bregman won MVP this year, they'd strip it. And I do think they need to strip Altuve's. I do think that even though they say that there's no punishment coming down on the players, the MVP is an award for a player. And if you win that award due to having an unfair advantage, just like as if you won MVP with steroids, if it came out that Bonds was on steroids a year after he won the MVP, I think you have the right to strip him of that MVP.
But like now, moving forward, like Altuve, I think is a Hall of Fame caliber player. Do they now say when it's his time? You know what I'm saying? Do people start questioning that? Because I think he's a Hall of Fame.
Well, I think
shoo-in at
I
this
think
point.
the next couple of years are going to be vital. That's what's going to happen with Altuve. See, Bonds was at the end of his career when it happened. Altuve, I think he still has some time left. He still has some stuff left in the tank. If all of a sudden you start seeing him decline, especially his home numbers, then, even if it happens by accident, even if he's just mental now and he starts declining, everyone's going to think it's because of what happened with the sign stealing. Does it prove how good the Nats pitching really was? Yes, it does. Yes, they really were that good. And I was saying it throughout the whole season.
Dude, Strasburg was looking like disgusting. Like no one could touch Strasburg.
But you know what's coming and you can't hit it. That's filth. That's filth.
Hell yeah.
But one thing I will say is maybe they were able to catch on to the bullpen signs. Maybe there were different signs. The starters were switching it up because it seems like they weren't hitting the starters, but then the bullpen would come in and they get rocked. Or they'd start walking people because they knew what was coming and they were able to watch the off-speed pitches and take them. So that's our take on the Astros. I personally think they should be penalized. They should probably be stripped of the 17 World Series. I'm not saying you should crown whoever the new World Series champions, but I think there should not be a winner. It should be like a strike-ended season. All right, so we're going to move on to the next thing. The next thing we're going to talk about is Topps Series 1 2020.
Yes.
Comes out in just over a month. And we're going to have rookies of some huge names like Jordan, that Boyer just mentioned. You're going to have Bo Bichette.
He's my favorite.
So you're gonna have some Bo Bichette. You're gonna have Gavin Lux, rookie, in there, and then you're gonna have Ariste Aquino for the Reds. So you're gonna have some guys that people are gonna be chasing for sure.
Yeah.
It's a flagship product, so people go extra ham, so to speak, on that type of product. Paper is on fire lately. People are going nuts for the paper product.
No one wants Chrome anymore. Everybody wants paper.
It's so weird how that's working right now. So weird.
Chrome was like king for the past 10 years, I personally think. And now it's like paper, paper, paper. No one even wants to look at Chrome anymore. People like it, obviously, but it has to be something crazy or cool, you know?
Well, look what a paper Series 2 Tatis rookie is doing compared to a Topps Chrome.
Yeah, it's like 35 and 50.
It's nuts.
It's weird.
It's nuts. But Topps 2020 Series 2, it drops in about a month. It's a really nice looking product. There's a couple of inserts that look so crazy, like the 90s, best of decades best, 1990s. Did anybody see a picture of that Ken Griffey Jr. insert? Oh my goodness! If they
it's
put
really
some,
cool. It looks like it looks like a Toys R Us kind of like throwback.
Yeah, or like Saved by the Bell, right? It looks like it could be like a cover of Saved by the Bell. I love it though. Love that.
Definitely love that.
Any off the under the radar guys in the product, in your opinion? I don't know the checklist. It's not out, so I wouldn't be able to give you any sleepers. We just know who the big guys are going to be according to Topps.
Right.
But me personally, I like Bo Bichette. I like him more than Jordan. And Jordan's going to be a lot more expensive in the player breaks. But
Most
I
definitely.
love
I like
Bo Bichette.
Bo Bichette is just a pure hitter. That dude, he has to work on his defense a little bit, but his hitting skills are phenomenal. So Bo Bichette is going to be like, that's the guy I'm going to be going after for sure.
Then we have
Bowman Chromes are a lot right now, but
so now talk a little bit about the gold foil. Is that new to 2020, Derek?
Yeah, so I was looking up. The gold foil is going to be 1 in every 2 packs. So at first you're going to think, oh, those are kind of common, but they're only going to be releasing in a jumbo series. So they're only going to be in jumbo. I don't know how that ratio is going to work, because right now Rainbow is coming out 1 in every 10 packs, but that's all throughout the hobby. So that's going to be obviously in jumbo, hobby, and then retail. But the gold foil is new, and that's just going to be in jumbo. So I'd say be on the lookout for those. I don't know how people are going to price them. People are either going to price them extremely high for no reason, or they're going to price them low because they don't know what they have.
Which at that point would be a nice buy low opportunity. Because basically what used to be in the product isn't there anymore. So they used to have the black and whites, which don't exist. What were those, to 50?
The negatives to 50, yes. I love those.
So they got rid of those. So the only thing that's really low numbered, really low numbered, is the acetate, which the clear ones are numbered to 10, right?
In hobby, yeah. Those are going to be hobby exclusives.
All right. So you have those. Then you're going to have, obviously, the Independence Day, Mother's Day. Yeah, all that stuff. They have, what was it? Mother's Day hot pink to 50, Father's Day blue to 50, Memorial Day camo to 25. The clear variation, then the platinum 101s, printing plates, and vintage stock, obviously, which I think is a good buy right now.
I love those vintage stocks. Those are so cool. And they're super hard to grade because they're a little bit thicker.
Yup. And the blacks are tough too, by the way.
The blacks are, you know what's funny is like in Bowman Chrome, blacks don't really, a lot of people don't pay attention to blacks, but on paper they're huge just because they're so hard to grade, just like the golds. Those corners, the edges, everything has to be super fine on those and basically pristine in order to get a 10. So those are huge value cards.
It's funny how fast the market is rising on paper Topps flagship. Like, seriously,
insane.
How Bowman was, how Chrome was like, oh no, we're going for the first Bowman. We're not looking for green. We're looking for blues and, the true colors. Now you got stuff like Topps flagship, gold, which is like the true Topps, is getting such a premium now because now people are like writing off some of the they're writing off some of the variations and they're going for like the true cards, like the black is like a true. The black's been there, numbered to 69. Those things have such a low grading gem ratio, just like the golds. But there's so many more golds out there. You're over 2,000.
I can almost guarantee you that those are going to be in PSA 10. They're almost always going to be less than a pop 10.
It really is impossible. I mean, even look what the golds are. PSA 10 golds for these superstars. There's 2,000 of them, and the pop is low. You know,
it's like 100. You're only grading out one in every 20 that you pull out.
Yeah, you get to a black where it's 69. You're lucky if there's 10. Lucky.
Yeah, you're basically pretty pumped if you hit a 9.
I know, it's insane.
Yeah.
Insane. Any questions coming on over in your end? Because I can't see over where you are.
So Kevin Hall, when we were talking about the Astros, he said, haha, coming from the mouths of Yankees fans. But hey, listen, I don't know. We're doing all right still. We're keeping it clean. We got Garrett Cole. We'll be back next year, buddy.
We took, and you know what? I'm not hating on Verlander. I like Verlander, and
I love him. Yeah,
he didn't do anything wrong. I mean, besides not snitch, but I'm not saying snitch though. I'm not saying snitch. But Garrett Cole got out of there at the right time. I'll say that much.
Oh hell yeah!
All right,
I think a lot of other people are going to want to leave. And then Christine said, "Sell me your Jordan cards."
No, I'm not selling Jordan. I'm holding Jordan right now. But you could have all my Altuve.
Jordan is definite hold, but everybody else on that team, I don't know about right now. Super sketchy. You don't know how they're going to play out. And then Robert Reynolds says, do you think we're in the modern day, quote unquote, junk era? And to answer that question, because I've thought about that too. So right now, I think that we are in a junk era, so to speak, but the only thing that's saving us is these colors and these variations, these short prints and SSPs, stuff like that. If you look at I don't even know what the PSA 10 population on something like an Acuna update is right now, but I can guarantee you it's in the thousands, 100%. If you're talking about getting his Mother's Day, that's only going to be a PSA 10 pop, 5. So while it might be another modern day junk era, people are buying cards more than ever right now. So the hobby's super hot. A lot of people are getting into the hobby, which also drives the market. And then those numbered cards are saving everything.
Yeah,
and from my perspective, I don't know about you, but that's how I
agree.
feel about it.
I think that the market right now is super hot, right? So don't get it twisted and be like, oh, it's going to stay like this forever. It's not. Eventually, you're going to see a little decline. It's just so much new money in the hobby right now, and everything is hot. Like, I'm talking about everything. Like, opening day is hot. People are trying to buy opening day. The only thing I don't think people are trying to buy is, like, Honus bonus. And I think you bought that, didn't you, for your birthday? Anyways, what I'm talking about really is their junk era was Fleer, Topps, Donruss, Upper Deck. One set of each. So people were buying, these sets were being mass produced, tons of these sets, but it was the same sets. And you had everybody saving the same set saying, oh, if I put this away for 25 years, this is going to be worth $200, $300, $400. But the problem was everyone had the same set. Now,
diversification.
Now these guys are still, you still have your Tops, you still have Panini, which is with Donruss or whatever. But now the difference is they have these short print variations. They have these color variations. They have all this different stuff where it's going to still drive the market due to scarcity. People that want it can't get it. The fact that you can't get it will always bring up supply and demand, will always make the market higher than it was, and it'll prevent a crash. Although I do think the market is going to correct at some point in this hobby. I will say that it's a lot safer now than it was in the late 80s, early 90s, due to the fact that, there's limited print runs.
Like, I feel good about buying an SP Glaber rookie for $90 raw. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like there's much risk into it, as opposed to buying like a PSA 9. Like last year, PSA 9 Acuna update was going for like $40-50. I think that was super risky.
The only risk you have is if you find out somebody was printing them and there's a million of them in somebody's house right now. That's the only risk.
Right.
Somebody floods the market and there's a lot more out there than anybody thought. And then you're in the junk era, right? Then you're in the junk era if, for example, all these cards that are 1/1s, 1/10s, they were actually released by Topps and somebody stole them and started releasing them. You don't know what's what anymore, and now everything's mumble jumbled. That's the only way that, in my opinion, because that's what happened in the 80s. Nobody knew how much was really being printed.
Well, I watched a whole segment on the Ken Griffey Upper Deck, where they just basically printed sheets and sheets and sheets and sheets and sheets of.
But no one knew this, so everyone's buying it thinking, oh, if I take it and I hold it, it's gonna be worth money because I'm gonna have it. But everyone had it. That's the problem.
They basically said it was like printing money all day. Can you
But
imagine
look
just
what the
printing
grading
$50
did.
bills?
Grading companies actually were able to take the junk era and make it valuable because now.
Right.
You're saying, all right, you do have it. So does everyone else. How's your condition, though?
Yeah.
So, and everything wasn't. They were printing this stuff out so fast that the condition, the centering, even if your cards are mint. How many times do I get a phone call? Hey, I'm trying to sell my collection. I have thousands of cards. They're mint. Everyone has mint cards, but are they centered? Centering was such an issue. So
I always go back to the what is it? The 1989 Donruss Ken Griffey. I have 150 of those. Not one of them with gem. It's insane. Like, they are just super hard. You can't, like, even the Kurt Schilling from that year, I think, is up to $40-50 last I checked.
Yeah,
all
that stuff's been rising. But that's the market in general. Like, everything has doubled. Everything, because when I was grading about a year and a half ago, I was trying to get all my 89 Donruss graded, and the Schilling was a $20 card. PSA 10. But that just shows you the market's hot. But still, the junk era is tough to grade out. You don't get many 10s. You don't see many 10s at all. Eric says, why is there an echo? Is anyone else hearing an echo? All right, guys, we are going to end it on Zion. All right, everybody's asking us questions on Zion Williamson. They are saying, should we sell? That's what I get all day. I have Zion. Should I sell? Should I wait for him to play a few games? What do you think about him? Truthfully, I don't know enough about the guy. My basketball is bad. But what I will say is when something is this hot, usually you wanna get out of it.
If I could pull a $550 card out of retail, I mean, you could do that with other cards obviously too, but the silver, I think it would be the equivalent to how golds are produced.
Like, when something is this hot,
like imagine you pull a Acuna update. I put everything into baseball perspective because that's just how I know how to price things and work around the hobby. If I'm pulling out a gold Acuna from an update 2018 where the box is going to cost the same as a Prism, and the gold Acuna is only going to be worth $300, and a Zion's going to be worth $550, I'm selling that. No way I'm keeping that, bro. There's no way. Unless dimes, obviously. And then even like the PSA 10s, I think, are going well over $2,000 now. Like, that's just insane.
Yeah, listen, it's anything in life, right? Like, Furbies got hot. Okay? Tickle Me Elmo was hot.
Yeah.
But there's no way it could stay that hot, right?
There's no shot.
So it's like, even if Zion...
I was talking about it before in the thread. Like, he has to break records, win MVP, Rookie of the Year. He has to basically just shatter every single NBA record there ever was to maintain at that level, I feel like.
Yeah, it is. The prices you're paying right now for a silver 9.5 Zion Williamson is 60 to 65% the price you could pay for a Luka silver 9.5. Now, Luka had a great rookie season, is lighting it up now. So now you mean to tell me you're going to pay 65% for a chance that he could be a Luka? It doesn't make sense. That's why you sell now on Zion, in my opinion. Forget about injuries. Forget about all that. It's just how many people are going to turn out to be great? How many people are generational type talents?
100%.
There's not many people out there like that. So, I mean, if you want to roll the dice, roll the dice. But the smart money is selling right now. If you look online right now, there's a lot of Zion being sold, and it's for a reason. Because
Sell high, buy low.
Yeah, it's for a reason. If it was a good hold, you wouldn't be able to buy it. You want to know what a good hold is? Go buy a red ink Jack Flaherty auto right now. You can't because nobody's selling them. You can't get the card. Nobody's selling them right now because that is a hold. Zion is easily accessible. Everybody's selling them. Don't be caught in the bubble. Don't be caught in the bubble.
No.
All right, we're going to take questions on the final segment right now. We'll stay live for another 5-10 minutes. We'll answer your questions, and then we are out of here. We have triple threads and then a 8-box baseball mixer breaking right after this. So what's up, Frankie? So get your questions in. Anybody on your end, Derek?
I'm not getting anybody over here right now.
All right, we have... Richard says, sell before he plays, buy Luka.
Buy Luka. Listen, last year, Luka's PSA 10 was going for like $40. I picked up one pretty cheap last year, just after he won Rookie of the Year, and it was off season.
Yeah, it was from me. Thanks.
Yeah, it was from you. But
thanks, man.
It went up three, four times the value. I just said, you know what, I'm just going to put this guy aside real quick, see what happens. But if you're putting aside a PSA 10 Zion, I don't know what the base is going for PSA 10. I know the raws were at like 40, so I'm gonna guess that the base is around $100 or something
probably
like that.
$100, yeah.
Before he even stepped on the court. I mean, that's pretty risky. It might even be more than 100. I have no idea. Like I said, I didn't look up the market on him, but that's risky.
See, I'd be looking to buy. See, I don't do much basketball. I'd be looking to buy into the guys under Zion right now, who are being overshadowed. Ja's stuff still is pretty cheap, and I think he has great potential. Oh, my God. Did you see when he almost posterized Love? Oh, I wish he really made that. I wish he dunked that. Oh, God. Oh, God. You know what I'm talking about? Did you see that?
What happened?
Did you see when Ja Morant went up over Kevin Love, leapfrogged him? Oh, my God. That would have been FIlthbomb right there.
That was crazy.
All right, guys, we are going to get out of here. Unless anybody wants to send in some questions quick, I'd be more than happy to answer for you. Otherwise, we aim for about a half hour a night. That's what we're going to try to do here on the Nosebleed Podcast. If you have other discussion, topics of discussion you'd like us to discuss in future podcasts, please feel free to shoot us a PM, and we'll definitely make sure we consider it. And on that note, it looks like we're going to get out of here, Derek. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Really appreciate it. As always, if you have questions, shoot us a PM. And until the next break, till the next case box or pack or podcast, we're signing off saying, sayonara, bro. Tani's, catch you on the flip side. Make it a filthy one.
Hey, this is World Series champion Johnny Damon.
This is World Series champion Cliff Floyd.
This is Kevin Newman of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
This is a World Series champion, Ozzie Guillen.
This is Carlos Pena, 14-year MLB veteran.
This is two-time NL MVP Dale Murphy of the Atlanta Braves.
This is John Plante, pitcher with the Arizona Diamondbacks.
This is World Series champion Joe Musgrove.
This is Jordan Luplow of the Cleveland Indians.
This is Lance Coach Jim from Houston Astros.
What's up, it's A. Jones of the Buffalo Bills.
It's Tyler Lockett of the Seattle Seahawks.
This is Hunter Henry of the LA Chargers.
This is Jose Canseco.
And when I'm not on the field catching bombs from Russell Wilson.
When I'm not on the field catching bombs.
When I'm not on the field catching bombs.
When I'm not on the field hitting bombs.
I'm watching my guys over at
FIlthbomb.
FIlthbomb. FIlthbomb.
FIlthbomb.
FIlthbomb.
FIlthbomb.
FIlthbomb.
FIlthbomb breaks.
Off those nasty.
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 Nasty. Nasty.
Nasty.
Nasty.
Nasty FIlthbomb. I know a thing or two about hitting some bombs, fellas.
But there's nothing quite like hitting a filth bomb with
My guys over at FIlthbomb Breaks.
FIlthbomb! FIlthbomb! Mike Trout 101 auto!
MVP breakers, MVP prices.
Keep those Filth Bombs coming, and I'll keep those World Series coming.
Thanks for making baseball cards fun again.
Thanks for making baseball cards fun again, guys. Go Bucks.
Thanks for making collecting cards fun again for the kids and for all of us old-timers as well.
A way to make baseball cards fun again, guys. Keep pulling those nasty filth bombs.
and pull me a Jose Canseco Superfractor.
And hit me a West Coast Superfractor. Go Astros.
Please pull me a DuPont Superfractor.
How about you go pull me a Jordan Luplow Superfractor?
Because you get at least an auto. Now, then, like, when you open hobby, you're like, you know, like, fuck.
And now, Introducing from New York, opening packs at the speed of sound, pulling filth out of cases nightly, the undefeated, undisputed champion of the sports car